No instabilities have been detected so far. Progressing to Section 2. It had been a few hours since he had made that decision. After meeting with two old faces, the titular Trent Askos and another called Salem Natsu, they had set out on an old boat rental, heading across the ocean towards the darkened land of the Amurg region.
Trent, how long is it gonna take us?
Sorry, but Amurg is still a fair bit away. We won't be seeing land until tomorrow.
Right, I'm gonna go check on Salem.
Basil would look away before heading back down below deck, while Salem would be sitting in the room, tending to everyone's Pokemon.
Ah!
Hey, Basil, isn't this cool? I've never been on a boat before.
Oh, hey Venelis. It is pretty exciting, isn't it? I'm more nervous, honestly.
After some convincing from the former, Venelis had followed Basil onto the boat and towards Amurg, determined to save another region. After all, they wouldn't be gone for long, right? Frivel would be fine in their absence. Nina and Tohawa would see to that.
Did you just ask that Askos guy when we'll reach land, though? I'm not gonna lie, the water kinda gets boring to see after a while.
He says we won't be there until tomorrow.
Is that true?
Yeah, sorry, Salem.
Oh, that's a shame. Basil would break the awkward tension with a question that had been plaguing his mind ever since the two had met again.
Salem, do you remember 3 years ago when me and Peter met you for the first time? How did you know Peter's name?
I knew his name because we used to be friends in the past. We went to the same primary school, actually, so I guess you could call us childhood friends, in a sense. But after primary was over, Wyatt pulled Peter into homeschooling, and I started to see him less and less until Peter forgot I even existed, I suppose. He doesn't remember, but I do.
You two were pretty close back then, huh?
Even now, 3 years later, Wyatt had his way of seeping into conversations. He tried not to think about it too much, as he knew it was a sore spot for his brother. He didn't care what he personally thought about what happened back then. Peter's feelings were more important. After all, he was the one who— Basil, are you listening to me?
Oh, yeah. I'm fine. Just got lost in thought. What do you think Amurg is gonna be like, Salem?
Well, I'd like to believe it's nice there. Evil dictators aside. It must have been nicer, at least, before Blake took the throne.
King Blake. Sorry, but could you maybe tell me more about what caused Amurg to be like this?
You see, there were these two kings, brothers. You already know Mihai, of course, but there's also his lesser-known brother, Eric, the heir to the Delwis throne. Basil would frown at the mention of Delwis. Out of all things he had an opinion on, he definitely knew the Delwis Empire was bad news. After all, they conquered the region Basil called home, and killed thousands in the process. He could never forgive people like that. Eric and Mihai had a good relationship, but their sons, not so much. Eric's son, Fabio, was a nice enough kid, but Blake, well, there were rumors that he was born evil, but I don't believe that. As he grew up, he became power-hungry. I think the word is megalomania. And eventually it led to him murdering both his parents and King Eric, plunging both kingdoms into disarray.
That still doesn't give Fabio an excuse for conquering the Frithel region. Like Blake, the power got to his head after taking the throne from his father.
Basil, I was just explaining what could have led King Fabio to go down that path. Losing a father must have affected him a lot.
So now we try to stop King Blake from doing the same thing Fabio did.
Yeah, pretty much. Basil would pause, thinking things over in his head.
I'm no better than Wyatt. What we're about to do, is it going to be justified? Alright, let's do this.